Today we're going to be working with Carnegie Mellon, which is using the Python coding language. And we're going to look at gathering some user input. And the AP Create task is asking us to use user input. And the user input could be button clicks, could be using the arrow keys or your keyboard, variety of things. You could download a file, all sorts of stuff. But the easiest way is just asking somebody for some information and then doing something with that information. So today, I'm going to ask for student names and print the list of students, okay? In order to do that, I'm gonna first start off by, I'm gonna need a variable. I'm gonna need a variable to store this. I'm gonna have a list of students, all right? I don't know if I'm gonna have 5 students or 10 students or 20 students. I don't know who's coming to school, all right? But I wanna store all the kids that come to school. I wanna type all their names into a list, okay? So the first thing I'll do is create variables, okay? And my variable will be names. And I want to store this as a list, so I use the square bracket. It's an empty list. I don't know how many kids are coming today, so my list of names is empty, all right? And what I want to do now is figure out a way to gather names, all right, when somebody types them in. Now, Carnegie Mellon, with its format, a lot of graphical stuff, we've been drawing lots of pictures, we have to ask for user input in a very special way. We're going to use a pop-up screen, a GUI, a graphic user interface, to collect this information. If I was just using Python that I downloaded from the python.org website, I could use input. It's just a command called input. I can't quite use that here because of how Carnegie Mellon's set up. So let's look at how to do that. Okay, I need to have this pop-up menu called a GUI pop-up. All right, so what I want to do is I'm gonna ask somebody for their name and keep typing names in until everybody's walked into class. And after everybody's all done, I need to tell the computer I'm done and I need to print the list out. Okay, so again, I don't know if 5 kids are going to come to school or 20 kids or 50 kids, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through what? Well, loop through a question, right? Or maybe loop through asking students' names until everyone has arrived, okay? So how can I do that? I need to keep looping, and I don't know how long I'm gonna loop. I might have a class roster that says 30 kids, but what happens if a couple kids are on field trips or sick or whatever? Okay, so I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna keep looping while a condition is true. So I will say while true. Now there's other ways to do this. Right now, my loop is gonna keep going and going and going until I tell it to stop. So my loop is true. This loop will go on forever. And I'm gonna show you a way to get out of this, okay, to stop that loop. There are other ways. You could figure out a way to keep track of things, okay, as long as you want. But this is an easy way. All right, so here's where we get into some of Python's special little commands in Carnegie Mellon. App.message equals app.get text input. This is all very specific to that pop-up menu. These are very special commands. I did not come up with any of these names. These are commands that are in Carnegie Mellon and in Python, and this allows me to have this pop-up menu, this GUI pop up. All right, I'm gonna use a set of parentheses, and now I need to give the person a prompt to tell them what am I asking for? Do I want names? Do I want grades? Do I want birthdays? Okay, well, how about enter student names when everyone has arrived, enter done, right? So the word done, D-O-N-E, done is gonna be my way of getting out of this loop. I'm gonna use the word done to break this loop. So I'm gonna keep asking for students until somebody types the word done. Okay, so the next thing I need is I need a variable. If there's a line of students at my door, I'm going to type in the first student's name. I will store that, and then I need to get ready for the next student, and I need to store that, and then I need to get ready. So I need a quick little variable to store the student's name. Well, I already used names up here, so I can't reuse it. So how about student? A student is a variable. You could call this X, you can call this hippopotamus. It doesn't matter. Student equals app.message. Again, the app.message, this is very specific. These are commands that Python needs to execute in order to do all our work. Okay? For right now, I'm also going to do a print student. After I grab each name, I want to print it out at the bottom right corner of my screen. Okay? Don't test right now. Don't hit the run. If you hit run screen right now, you're going to have an infinite loop that doesn't stop. So don't test this just yet. Okay. Give a little bit of white space here. So what I need to do now is, as people start typing in names, I need to grab that information. Well, first I better check, are they typing in a name or are they typing in the word done? If they type in a name, it'll get added to my names list here on line 4. If they type the word done, I'm going to stop. Okay, so if student equals done, what am I going to do? Well, here's something else. It's break. Notice break is in purple. Break is a keyword. If somebody types in the word done, I'm going to break my code. I'm going to break the loop. The loop will stop. Else what? Else names is the list from line 4. Names dot append bracket student. If somebody types in done, I will break the loop. Else, if you type in a name, my names list from line 4 will be appended with whatever you typed in. Okay? All right, we can try this out. Let's hit run, and I receive a pop-up and it says, enter student's name when everyone has arrived, type in done. Well, let's see, Bill is the first student in. Okay. Who's the next person? It's Sally. All right. Mr. Hollerith comes in. Maybe Steve stops by. All right. Maybe Sarah comes in. All right, well, that's everybody. I type in the word done. What do I have? Well, right now, all I have is down here, I see Bill, Sally, Mr. Hollerith, Steve, and Sarah came in the class, and then done. So it's printed off, print student, it's printed off each individual name, okay? But what I need to do now is, after this loop is done, after I've completed running this loop, I'd like to also print the list. So I'll give a little bit of space here. And when that loop is done, I will print what? Print names. Okay. Now maybe you want to also print. Here is everyone who came to class today. Okay. All right. All right. So let's try some new names. Okay. So how about Dave? And maybe Mary. And George. And I don't know, who else do we have? Izzy maybe came to class. And then I'm all set. I'm done. I'll type in done. So Dave, Mary, George, and Izzy. These first few lines are the print statement on line 10. I typed in done. It said, here's everyone who came to class today. Dave, Mary, George, Izzy. Notice that done is not in the list. Okay. These first few print statements, Dave, Mary, George, Izzy, done, that's for me. Okay. This is a nice little area for me to check on what's going on. what we'd like to work on, and you have a lot of experience with graphical stuff, you need to go apply some of those things now to figure out how to get this list of names, instead of down here in this print area, figure out how to get it up here on this screen. You could use a label, right? Create a label to print all those names here instead of down here in the console. But this is a very basic way of asking for user input and printing the list out. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put a hashtag, a pound sign, right, in front of line 10 right now, just so we don't have everything there. And let's run the list again. Okay, again, how about, Bob, Mike, again, we got Maggie, Jessica. All right, and then we're done. Let's type in done. Okay, so now we go down to our list, and now notice I don't have all those individual statements. Here's everyone who came to class: Bob, Mike, Maggie, Jessica. Again, notice the brackets and the quotes around there. You creating a label up here, there are ways to get rid of this, and you've done enough work on this, so you should feel comfortable, or at least be able to try it. But this would be, a good enough list. One other thing we want to be careful of, I was typing in the capital letter Bob, capital M, capital Matt, and that's because we always capitalize the first letter of somebody's name. Well, what happens? Let's try something here. Let's run. All right, and what happens if Bob, Sarah, Rick, Brian, and now what happens if I do capital D-O-N-E? Just because I was in a habit of doing capital letters, it kept going. Done. Well, now look, because I typed in capital D-O-N-E, that's now in my list. That's not good. So let's go back to line 13 real quick. If student equals done, or student equals done, notice I did a capital, or student equals all capital letters. Those are some little safety catches for me, a little safety net to grab on, okay? So let's try this, okay? Let's run. And again, let's do Sarah, Bill, Charlie. And now let's do capital D-O-N-E. It broke my loop, okay? So by using the complex decision-making, if, or, as long as one of these or statements is true, if you type in all lowercase, a capital D, or all uppercase, it'll break the loop. This is a nice safety net for you, okay? So we have create a variable, names, and I can now go in there and I can ask the user using a graphic user interface, that little pop-up screen, to track data. Again, your challenge, if you can, is to figure out a way to print this list out on the screen, because that is the environment we've been using all year. And that's where we'd like to have everything be printed for our users. I would try a label. I hope this was helpful. Good luck with your assignment, and we'll see you soon.